2 years ago, my classmates and I were tasked with creating a futuristic city that integrated new and sustainable ways of living. After arduous hours of research, I came across a machine that could be used to solve my city's energy, water, and sanitation problems, the Janiki Omni Processor. So when I discovered that this year's TEDx talk had the theme of solutions made for the 21st century, I knew exactly what innovative technology I'll be talking about. Currently, one of the only ways we exploit feces is anaerobic digestion, a process through which bacteria breaks down excrements without oxygen and turns it into biogas. However, feces have so much more power than we can even imagine. It has the ability to be turned into electric power and clean drinking water. All of this is made possible by the Janiki Omni Processor, an admittedly lame name for a world-changing machine. This technology can be deployed around the world to tackle major obstacles faced by those in poverty, such as lack of clean drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene, by turning feces into potable water and electricity. The Janiki Omni Processor is on its way to revolutionizing the waste processing industry because of its unique and efficient way of combining three processes: solid fuel combustion, steam power generation, and water treatment. Today, I'll be talking about the most relevant problems that exist in the world in regards to sanitation, how the technology works, and the benefits of the Janiki Omni Processor. First of all, new and innovative technologies wouldn't be invented without a need or a problem. So let's put into perspective how the effects of improper sanitation harm our world. Living in Canada, most of us have access to toilets or proper sanitation systems. However, we often forget about developing countries, which may not have the proper infrastructure to deal with feces or human waste. According to Duncan Mara, today, 2.6 billion people in the world lack adequate sanitation in their regional infrastructure. That is 40% of the global population. Clean water, basic toilets, black water disposal. These are all necessities that we in developed countries take for granted, but aren't available in many nations. In those states, sewage is commonly stored in pits near population centers. According to BMC Health, 892 million of the total world's population is still practicing open defecation. A UNICEF report in 2009 demonstrates that 1.5 million children die each year from contaminated food and water. And in developing countries, half of all patients in hospitals are there because of problems with water and sanitation. Poor sanitation is often linked to transmission diseases, such as cholera, typhoid, diarrhea, and polio. The solution to prevent the spread of diseases is quite simple: prevent food and water from being contaminated in the first place. This means disposing of feces in a controlled manner that does not touch public resources in the process. What's more, these sanitation-related problems put an economic strain on these countries. According to a research paper by Ming and Nguyen Viet in 2011, inadequate sanitation has caused India considerable economic losses, equivalent to 6.4% of India's GDP, or $54 billion. Now that we examine the pressing matter of improper sanitation that plagues our world, you must all be dying to understand how this solution actually works. To put it simply, the Janiki Omni Processor combines three steps: solid fuel combustion, steam power generation, and water treatment to turn feces and convert it into gold. It all starts with solid fuel combustion. Feces, biosolids, or other wet waste enter a dryer where it is heated and the moisture is evaporated. From there, the solid waste becomes a fuel that proceeds to a fire where it is burned in a very controlled fashion, reducing the solids to a dry ash. Next, to improve the process efficiency, the Janiki Omni Processor then combines steam power generation in the mix. The dried solid waste from before is burned to create heat. Steam from that is fed to a steam engine, which runs a generator to produce electricity. This electricity can not only power the whole machine, but also produces surplus electricity that can be sold or used for other purposes. The exhaust or waste heat from the engine in the form of steam travels back to the dryer where it provides the energy required for drying the incoming wet waste. At that point, it is condensed back to water and pumped back to the boiler to repeat the cycle. These two processes together provide a self-sustaining solution. However, the Janiki Omni processor still has much more to offer. The third process is water treatment, which completes the system. The moisture that is leaving the dryer from the wet waste stream is in the form of steam. This steam goes through a series of filters and then is condensed, distilling the water. If desired, this water can be treated all the way to clean drinking water standards or repurposed for other applications. So what tangible benefits does the Janiki Omni processor bring? It is designed for use in developing countries where improper sanitation is a major health risk and clean water and electric power may be limited. Using the sewage, it can generate 250 kilowatts of electricity and 13,000 gallons of water from about 50 wet tons of waste per day. That's like powering 2,500 light bulbs in cities and providing 3,000 humans with fresh water. Each plant can process the sewage of a community of about 100,000 people. It is a self-sufficient machine made for the 21st century. Furthermore, we already see the machine working in the world. In 2015, Janiki launched the Omni Processors program in Senegal, in a country where more than 2 million people openly defecate and more than 3,000 deaths each year are related to water, sanitation, and hygiene. The project was extremely vital. This piece of equipment is being planned to be used in India and Africa. The impact on developing countries is tremendous, but the processor may also transform how developed countries handle waste. This technology can be used in our communities here in Canada to efficiently generate electricity and water for the growing population. In our local community, we are fortunate enough to have access to clean drinking water every day, which makes it hard sometimes to understand the scarcity of water in less privileged areas like indigenous reserves. Even though we live in developed countries and our sewage systems are relatively advanced, it doesn't mean we can't change to a far more resourceful and functional system. Let's take a look at the comparative between this machine and traditional sewer treatment. Currently, BCs have to travel a long distance to reach a waste treatment facility, and it can't generate any resources because it is an unadaptable system that only treats the fecal matter. On the other hand, the Omni processor, there is a practical and cost-effective solution to process industrial waste that are often stored in places that are long distances to treatment facilities. It reduces water use and contamination from traditional sewer treatment. It lowers capital costs, making it a far more affordable and sustainable technology. It eliminates environmental impact and cost of transporting feces long distances for disposal. Furthermore, this equipment is also extremely versatile. Because it is decentralized, it has opened up the opportunity for a lot of other industries: agriculture, food processing, pulp and paper, animal byproducts, and even chemical processing. In the upcoming years and decades, we will need technologies like the Janiki Omni processor to sustain our daily life. As climate change activist Greta Thunberg said, we can't save the world by playing by the rules because the rules have to be changed. Everything needs to change and it has to start today. Poor sanitation and a lack of clean water and electricity will continue to wreak its havoc on human life. The Janiki Omni processor is a technology made for the 21st century, with the ability to convert human waste into metaphorical gold for communities in the developing world by utilizing three principles: solid fuel combustion, steam power generation, and water treatment. Both developing and developed countries have the ability to revolutionize their waste management and sanitation systems while keeping up with ever-increasing resource demands. As our world becomes increasingly hard to live in, we need to continue innovating. Our freshwater sources are running out, and the demand for electricity is ever increasing. It just might turn out that poo, of all things, is the key to saving our planet. Thank you.